Hi, this is Brandy, and today we're going to be exploring how to use Google Drawing to make basic shapes and artwork for kids. So the first thing you want to do is go to your Google Drive. So it's just drive.google.com. And you also want to make sure that you're logged into your rolandschools.org account. Once you're in Google Drive, you're going to click on New, and then you need to scroll down to More and click Google Drawings. Once it opens up, it'll be an untitled drawing. So you can go ahead and rename it Brandy's Artwork. And you always want to get your kids in the habit, if they're opening up a new document from their Google Drive, to always name it first. And since the kids for this assignment are just going to be making kind of a self-portrait, we're going to explore some basic shapes. So when you're in drawing, here's your toolbar. And then here are where most of your kids are going to be spending their time, especially today with the shapes. So I'm going to click on Shapes, Basic Shapes, and I want to circle because I'm going to make a face. Once it turns into the crossbars, you know you're ready to draw your shape. To get a perfectly symmetrical circle, hold down your Shift key and then click to draw your shape. And this will give you a circle as opposed to an oval. And you can expand it and make it smaller, as big as you want. Once you have it, you can move it around the page. You can determine where you want it to set up. So I'm just going to set mine right here. And then I don't have a blue face, so I want to change the fill color. So this little paint bucket is your fill color. So you're going to click it, and you can choose any of these colors. If the kids don't like those colors, they can always go down to custom, and then you're going to get the more colors to choose from. So maybe I like this color, and I don't want to have this black outline around my circle, so I'm going to go to line color and make that transparent. That way it's just the circle. Now I want to go in and insert some eyes. So again, I'm just going to do some more circles and holding down that Shift key, and there's my eye. I want to fill it with a color, and again, I don't want it to have a line, so there's an eyeball. And then if I want to duplicate that, you can go to Control-C to copy, and then Control-V will paste it. So here's another eyeball. And the great thing is that that little red line shows up that shows you that your shapes are level. So my eyes will be somewhat where they should be. And then I'm going to repeat this again for the nose. Maybe for my nose, I want to use a line. So maybe I can do a curved line, and I can kind of play around with that. Oops, I'm going to delete that one. If I don't like it, I can go ahead and click it and hit delete. I can go back up here and select a line again. Maybe I'll just do scribble, and this should let me kind of draw whatever kind of shape I want. So there's my nose. Again, you can change the color of that line. And then I would also use that scribble tool again for a happy face. Whoops, I accidentally moved that. If that happens to the kids, they move something that they didn't intend to move, there's no big deal. We can easily fix that. If you go to this back arrow, it undoes whatever the last command was. So again, I'm going to hit my little scribble line, and there's my crossbars, and there's my happy face. The scribble line would also be a good tool to have the kids kind of draw in some hair. If you wanted them to, ooh, looks like I'm kind of having a bad hair day here, but the kids would have fun with that. Excuse me. So there's a picture of my body, and then maybe I want to, or there's my head, excuse me, maybe I want to make a body, and since I'm not the best artist in the world, maybe I'm just going to use kind of the triangle body here as my dress. So again, I can go back to this paint bucket, and I'd like to be wearing a purple dress today. Don't want it to have any lines on the outside, so I'm going to take that off. I can go ahead and use a line by selecting line and then a line. And whenever you're making lines connecting to other things, when you touch a shape, these dots will appear, and that lets you know where you're connecting from. So there's a line there. There's a line there. So now I have some arms. And then I want to do the same for some legs. So I'll put a line here for some legs and a line here for some legs. And since the focus of this lesson would be on making sure the kids are naming their digital work, I would also have them practicing adding in a text box and then typing by and then their name so that they can get used to doing that. I know that they've named it up here with their name, but this is a good reminder for them to name it here. So that's pretty much how you can use Google Drawing to have the kids make just a basic self-portrait to help them practice the digital citizenship of providing ownership to their work.